I'm gonna just let y'all know this is not a podcast topic that I'm not going to be teaching you how to embrace your femininity for a man, or to get a man, or to be more womanly so you can get a more manly man. None of this is going to be about you getting a man. So if that's what you're looking for, how to be more womanly so you can find a good man or whatnot, this ain't it.
Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute?
Hey girlfriends, and to everybody else, what up YouTube? Today's podcast is going to be on how to embrace your femininity. And so this was, of course, rated. Everyone wanted to see this one done over Finding the One. Here are the results right here from my Instagram. You can go on my I've Been That Girl 2 Instagram page, and I will post in the stories like every Wednesday what you guys want to see me talk about. It'll be either Tuesday or Wednesday. That's usually when I film. So look for around Tuesday or Wednesday on my I've Been That Girl story, and you can vote for the topic. It'll be like 2 out of 2. And then you choose which one you want. So this one won against Finding the One. But everyone wants, some other people said both. So I'll probably do that next. But here we are about embracing your femininity. So as of course, woman myself, I have had a difficult time embracing my femininity. It was hard trying to go against societal norms and whatnot and trying to figure out how to embrace it. And so if you struggle with that for whatever reason, this podcast is for you. Now, before we get all the way into it, I'm going to just let y'all know this is not a podcast topic that I'm not going to be teaching you how to embrace your femininity for a man, or to get a man, or to be more womanly so you can get a more manly man. None of this is going to be about you getting a man. So if that's what you're looking for, how to be more womanly so you can find a good man or whatnot, this ain't it. Because I am not the type to tell a woman how to get a man. I'm not the type to tell you what to do for a man to get a man. That's not something I do. That's what I'm just trying to say. That's not something that I do. I'm just not going to be that woman telling another woman how to get a man. Like, yes, I love my husband. I'm married now and all of that. But no, girlfriends. I'm all about you being more feminine for yourself and feeling good for yourself. And then whatever you do with that, that's between you. Okay? So now that we got that disclaimer out the way, let's get right into it. All right, so for embracing your femininity, it's not about being more feminine, so to speak. It's about balancing your feminine and masculine energy. Even men have feminine energy as well. Sometimes it can outweigh their masculine energy. It just depends. And this in the same with women. Sometimes their masculine energy can outweigh their feminine energy. And so when you find that perfect balance, and for me, I like to say have a little more feminine energy than the masculine energy, just a little more. And this is what it's going to help you with. I feel like that's the perfect match, like the perfect balance. It's just having just a little bit more feminine, because I'm a woman. And just like with a man, you want him to balance both, because you want him to be able to recognize you and connect with you. So he has to have a balance of both. You get what I'm saying? And so this is what this is about. It's about balancing it. And I feel like a lot of times our masculine energy may take over because of past pains, past traumas, past hurts we haven't healed from. Maybe we've been paying attention too much to misogynistic advice. Like, there can be misogynistic males and females. Sometimes even your father or your mother can be going with those misogynistic standards and whatnot. And so when you're listening to all of that, you can kind of lose yourself and lose your femininity. So I'm going to teach you how to get all that back and how to balance it and just be one with it and with yourself. because I feel like I've come a long way with mine, and I'm going to tell you my tips. And like I said, I'm not a feminine coach. I am a coach, but I'm a one-on-one mindset intuitive coach. I am not going to coach you on how to get a man, on how I'm just not. And these feminine things that I'm going to teach you are more so going to be about you being a better you, so to speak, you know? So let's get into it. Let's get all the way into it, because girlfriends, as I was writing these notes and going over what I want to say on this thing, I was like, this shit finna be good. Okay? Because I feel like a lot of the things I'm about to talk about aren't talked about enough when it comes to being more feminine. I always see them geared towards women being more feminine to get a man. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Our world does not revolve around men. It just does not. And I hate that they try to paint that. Even now, when we've been married, my world does not revolve around my husband. And it never did when we were dating. And I think that's what made him like me, because I had my own goddamn life. And I was me. And I was my own self for me, you know? So, yeah, this is what this is going to be about. So, if y'all want, get y'all notepads out. You can pause it right now. Go get your notepads, because I'm finna drop some gems. I'm about to drop some good shit for y'all. Some of it you might not want to hear, but I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. You know I always do. So I'm gonna tell you the first thing that can help with you embracing your femininity. This is the number one thing I feel like that can make the difference in everything, is healing. And when I say healing, I don't mean you have to be healed. I feel like you're always going to be healing, because it's a lifetime endeavor, and it's only because their life is always changing and going and moving. And so you have to move with it. And sometimes you may get some triggers that you didn't know was triggering you. Sometimes some shit may pop off that you weren't ready for, and you gotta be with it. And then you gotta heal with it, you know? And so what I mean by healing, I mean by working on your triggers from your past and what you've been through. Like, when a trigger comes up for you, it's best to, and before I say what is best to do, understand that triggers are normal. I don't want you to feel ashamed for having triggers. I don't want you to feel anything about a trigger. I don't want you to judge yourself when I talk about this. Like I said, some of this is going to get deep. And you know I'm a crybaby. I hope I don't cry to none of this shit. But anyway, when I talk about triggers, before I go any further, I want you to know, first of all, have some compassion. That's also building your femininity. I want you to have some self-compassion and be soft with yourself. Kind of like how you would want a mother to nurture you and be soft with you. Like, maybe you may have not had the best mother, the best nurturing mother, or you may not have the best relationship with her. But I want you to think about what you would have wanted. Think about your favorite TV mom. I don't know which mom that would be. For me personally, I really love Mandy Moore in This Is Us. Think of a mom like that. Or even Claire Huxtable. You know, she had a little sass with hers, but she was motherly. Whatever you can think about that person mothering you and saying something compassionate to you, and, you know, letting you know that she's there. Think about it when I talk about this part about healing. We're going to get the tough shit out the way right now, because this part is kind of hard to hear sometimes, but I'm going to keep going. Y'all listen. So, when healing the triggers, I want you to realize when it's happening. And when it's happening, you realize that you, like, say if someone's not directly saying anything to you, or maybe they are, and you start to feel it bubble up. You'll feel that trigger. You'll feel it like you're ready to lash out. You're getting angry, and it's okay to get angry. Like I said, don't judge none of these feelings, girlfriends. Don't judge none of them. Just let them come up. And when you're feeling those triggers, I want you to stop, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what is happening right now? Why am I responding like this? What's really going on? This is how you become self-aware. And self-awareness is really what you need to be on your healing journey. And so what you're going to do is, whatever trigger it is that's coming up, take a deep breath and breathe through it and work through it. You know, that's how you're going to heal that trigger. And once you recognize what your triggers are, you are more prone to respond versus reacting. Reacting is what makes the masculine energy take over, because you're reacting, maybe angry, lashing out, being argumentative, raising your voice, going off on people, fighting people. Like I said, none of this is to be ashamed of. I'm not judging you. I am not. Because I've been through some shit too. I had to do a whole other podcast on the shit I've been through. I want you to know that this is going to help you to respond. And I'm going to give you an example. Say if I notice a trigger in someone that's close to me, and it's about their parenting. And that's what I think, you know what? I think that's what any mom, especially maybe if they were a young mom, or especially if they were, had challenges, which big ups to all the moms. But say if that's a trigger of yours and someone says something that's not directed towards you, but they say something that and you start formulating an opinion in your own head about what they meant instead of just asking. And so you react and you start getting angry, you lashing out, you're ready to fight. So what you do is instead, now say if you do all that, come down to yourself later on and say, now, why did I react that way? What's really going on the inside? This is part of balancing your energy and embracing your femininity. So what you do is, once you get to yourself, or even in that moment, stop. For one, you don't want anyone having that power over you. And two, you can respond. Yes, like my mom used to say, you can be nice nasty. You can put people in their place respectfully or disrespectfully, but you don't have to react. You can respond. And so what you do is you stop yourself in that moment and you tell yourself, one, either they didn't mean it like that, or they just don't know what they're talking about. Two, I'm not going to let them have power over me. I have the power. Three, they're maybe just projecting and then trying to get under my skin. This is what I tell myself when I'm getting triggered. You just stop, have a little conversation with yourself really quick. Say, nope. But then you can handle it and respond. You can simply ask them, what do they mean by that? You can ask, or you can just walk away and say, we're not discussing my parenting or any of that. Just respond. Think of something clever to respond with, Like for me, once someone said something about my hair. I like my hair big. This is actually not as big as I have it, but some people call this big. But I like my hair big. Someone said, it looked like you stuck your finger in the socket. Thank you. I know I love my hair to look like this. Okay? Respond. And then just, keep it cute and keep it going. You're telling them you're not to be fucked with, but you're doing it in a feminine way. You get what I'm saying? Okay? Think Tabitha Brown. If you don't know who Tabitha Brown is, look her up. A lot of you do. Think how Tabitha Brown put Wendy Williams in her place that time. She kept her feminine energy, and she put her in her place nice, nasty. Like my mom used to say, nice, nasty is meaning you're meaning something disrespectfully because you're like, who you think you are coming from me? But you're doing it in a nice way, but you're standing up for yourself still. And it feels good to do that because it's like, I got the power. You ain't taking my power. Sometimes it may slip up, but that's okay. And also, another thing is learning to not be passive aggressive. We're still on the healing part. Passive aggressiveness usually comes from if you don't know how to speak up about what you want and need and what you desire. Being passive aggressive is meaning that you may have not had your feelings heard, and so you don't feel like that you can speak about your feelings because people are not going to get it or care. And so you're afraid of that. And so you don't say anything. You just be passive aggressive, hoping they will say something to you. And so what you can do is actually speak up and know that you have that right to do so. Yes, people may have made you feel like you didn't have that right growing up or in your past life, but you have to understand they were wrong. Okay? Speak up now. And do it with the passive aggressiveness and actually say what you mean, what you want. And if that person can't give it to you, that's that person not for you, and walk away. You can't connect with that person because you can't even speak up to them about simple shit. Walk away. Okay? And let's see. Processing anger. And when you process your anger, this is why I said back to the triggers. Processing your anger is actually a form of self-love. I read this somewhere that your anger is like the part that loves you because you know you either deserve better or you're upset about something because you know you didn't deserve it. So that's why I say it's okay to be angry. Don't judge yourself. Process it. Take a sit down with yourself and process through all of it. This is how you heal. And healing this is actually you becoming self-aware. And so it's like you're almost untouchable. People can try, but it's like because it's like a bubble. I feel like you're in this healing bubble and you're taking the time to process what's said to you, done to you, and you're like, wait a minute. And you're not reacting, you're responding. I can't say that enough. And some other things that can help you is forgiving yourself for the girl that you was, having self-compassion. And I feel like you do this by reparenting your inner child, reparenting yourself. Because it just goes back to what I said originally. Think about a TV mom you really love and parent yourself as you think she would. If it's your mom and anybody. Have self-compassion for yourself, for the girl that you was, the things that you've been through, what happened to you. Forgive yourself. I feel like self-forgiveness is what lifts the weight off your shoulders. It just makes you feel lighter. And to me, I correlate feminine energy with lightness and fluidity, just being fluid and moving. I correlate those two with just smooth, slow. And I really like that you can have that self-compassion for yourself and forgive yourself. And I promise you, it's like as you slowly start working through that, it just feels lighter. The load is lifted. And when I say self-forgiveness, it's meaning that you're not perfect. You may have had people before trying to tell you how perfect you needed to be, but they were wrong. You don't have to be perfect. And if you think that you're not where you're supposed to be, forgive yourself. Your journey is your journey, and no one has been where you are, and nobody's been in your shoes. Nobody's been through what you've been through and had to work through. You may be, quote unquote, a little behind, all because you had to actually process and go through some things. So forgive yourself if you're not where you want to be yet. Forgive yourself for the girl that you was. I feel like with me, I'm going to tell you what helped me with my self-forgiveness. What helped me was realizing that I was not myself. And it's only because I had to work to find myself, because who I wasn't nurtured growing up. I was emotional, but I was told I was a crybaby. And so that caused me to be passive aggressive growing up. So it's like you're basically undoing all the things that was told about you. And that takes sometimes years. And with it taking so long, you have to forgive yourself that maybe you are a little behind. I feel like I'm just now getting to having the highest self-esteem of my life because I'm actually have worked through all of the things and unlearned all of the things about myself and learned new things about myself and learned who I really am, because I was never taught about who I really am, And so that may set you back some, but no one's walked your journey, and it's never too late to heal and to grow through those things. I want you to have that compassion for yourself, and it takes time. You have to work on this. It takes time, but keep doing it. And with healing, I also feel like that it helped me to have higher standards, because when you are the healed version of you, you're looking for heal or healing versions of other men. And when you're looking for a healed or a more healed version of a man because of who you are, then your standards are naturally higher. And I give you an example, because it's like when you feel like you're damaged, you tend to be attracted to the men you feel like are a little damaged or need a little love or a little help, because you feel like you can be that girl to change that for them. That's when you're not in your healing energy. Your healed energy, when your highest self is what I'm trying to say. And so once you actually work through all of this, work through all the healing things that I talked about, or you can be working on it. You can be healing and find a man that is healing, because when you get in a relationship, you will do more healing because I call it relational healing. It's called relational healing. You can check out my The Real About Relationships podcast on that, more on that. But yes, and so once you have gone through all that, your standards are higher. And that's you walking more in your feminine energy as well. Because it's like, my standards are high. I treat myself well. I want someone to treat me well. I've healed through all these things. I deserve someone else that is also healed or healing. I deserve someone else to meet me on my level. Okay? And I'm going to go into the next one that can help you. Is stop chasing, And I mean everything, not just a man or a relationship or marriage. It's just stop chasing. Chasing takes you out of your feminine energy, girlfriends. It just do. It puts you in a desperate sense, And desperate ain't cute. Not even cute on the men. Think about a man that's liked you and was all desperate for you and shit. How it turns you off. Because it's not a secure feeling. You don't want someone that's that insecure. And so you chasing it seems like you're so desperate for that person. If you don't get it or get whatever you want, then you're going to fall apart. It's like your life depends on it, and it doesn't. And so what you do is you stop the chase and you just allow things to flow in and out. You don't have that tight grip, you release it, and you know that what's for you will find its way to you. And you're working on putting yourself in alignment with what you want. Yes, you can manifest all day long, but you have to put yourself in alignment with it. And chasing is not going to put you in alignment with the things you want. Chasing is just not cute. You can attract. And think of yourself as just flowing through the world, through earth, through whatever, just flowing through life. And things just like, hey, who's that? And just attracting, just like a magnet, like you're a magnet now. And some people may not like it. Oh, well. They'll be repelled. Oh, well. And it's like, you have to change your mindset around it as well and not take shit so personally if someone doesn't want you or want to be with you, They're doing you a favor. You don't want anyone that's not in alignment. So you have to get your mindset on that. It's not personal. And that's why I put this after healing, because once you heal, you don't take certain things so personally anymore. You more so responding like, okay, they just not for me. They're not in alignment. It's okay. And you keep flowing. Someone else would be for you, You don't have to chase a damn thing. Anything you're chasing means it's not for you, because anything that's for you is going to come to you and be attracted to you, So, and something else, the next thing we want to talk about is not seeking validation. So, it's nothing wrong with people validating you or just doing it naturally on their own. But seeking it, that's when you lose your feminine energy and you come out of your feminine energy. Because once again, when you're seeking it, it's like chasing it. You don't have to chase it. What helps the most is validating yourself. Now, I know it seems like, but no, I won't, how's that? How can I do that? You have to make it a practice, girlfriends. Practice every day validating yourself. Like, for example, I validate myself when I'm doing my makeup. I'm in the mirror and I'm just like, oh, I look good. Oh, this turned out pretty. I look so good. Even if you ain't saying it loud, say it to yourself. Validate yourself. Boost yourself up. Talk yourself up. You do it first. And change your mindset around you. And if you don't have anything nice to say about yourself, don't say shit at all. Because don't go out there looking for it. You validate yourself first. And it's something about when you validate yourself, it exudes out of you. Confidence just exudes out of you. And that's what makes you that much more attractive, because you actually like yourself. It's learning to really like yourself. Next thing is becoming one with your solitude in a long time. And so this may be hard for some. I understand. But becoming peaceful with your solitude, it's meaning that you are okay with or without people. And it's not to say that you can't ever have people in your life, but this is what stops that chase. Because if you think about it, more than likely you're chasing because you want something so bad because you can't sit with yourself. You don't want to be by yourself. And so you're chasing these people, you're chasing someone because you don't know how to be alone and you don't want to be. And when you chase, you may not like what you get. I'm just be honest. You may not like the type of men that come to you that likes you chasing them. Because this is how codependency is formed. Codependency is formed from you chasing, and narcissists see that as a way in. They're like, okay, this girl doesn't have any standards for herself. She doesn't care about herself. She only cares about me. So I have control over that. So that's what I mean. You don't want to chase. All you have to do is wait and attract. And when you do that and you become one with your solitude, girlfriends, that's the most powerful thing in the world to me. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself becoming one with my solitude. Because, yes, I'm an introvert, but I didn't always like my solitude because I thought I had to have a man. You know, I thought that would validate me somehow. And so, after my last relationship to my toxic ex, I remember that I just was like, I can't keep going through this shit. This was the second relationship like this. I said, I'm not going through this shit again. And I know what I want, but let me just be alone. And it came naturally. And I became one with my solitude because I found peace in it. I'm like, I can be myself. When you're by yourself, it's like that's when you really find yourself. You find out who you are and what you like and don't like. And so I became one with me. And I just looked at my solitude as being peaceful, And it's like, it put me back in control of my life because I'm like, I can pick and choose who gets to come into my life and share my solitude with me. And it was like, it was no more chasing because I seen what happened with that. It was no more falling for sweet talk from these men because I seen what happens with that. It was none of that. So it's like, yeah. And this kind of can go with you forgiving yourself because it's like, the shit that I've been through, I don't regret it at all because it made me wiser. And so realizing that I went through all that shit to get me to this point because this was the only way that I could learn, that helped me even more to forgive myself because I like the results of me going through all that and being resilient and healing through it. And so that's how it all kind of comes together if you're seeing how this is coming together. Because it's like, all of this puts you back. It balances your feminine and masculine energy. And your solitude is where you can really become your feminine self. That's when you can practice your self-care routines. That's when you can practice your self-love. All of that. So don't look at it alone as being, something bad. Or that you're going to be alone forever. Or something negative. It's just for now because you refuse to have another toxic relationship or people come into your life wreaking havoc in it. That's moving me on into self-care. So self-care for me and self-care for you can be anything. Anything that has to do with you tending to yourself and pampering yourself and prioritizing yourself. That's the number one thing because it's like you're putting yourself first and what you want. And so for me, self-care, I like doing my hair. I like my makeup being done. I like, it could be a nice bath. It can be going to get your toes done. Doing your nails, going to get your nails done. Anything that has to do with you feeling more alive and feeling more like you. Any type, and I'm going to sit here and tell you that, since I'm talking about being more feminine, you got to wear your hair a certain way, or you got to wear makeup. No, you do not. You do not have to do any of the quote unquote girly things to be more feminine. So I just want to throw that out there as well. And so taking time to actually groom myself and to look neat in my clothes and to feel good. I want you to realize that you can prioritize yourself and what you need in any way that fits you. Clothes that you feel like make you feel good. Wearing your hair, what makes you feel good. Doing what makes you feel your best. Wouldn't matter what nobody say out there. No societal norms, no society, no social media, none of that. It's what you feel. So that when you look in the mirror or when you look at yourself, I want you to feel good about what you see and feel good about yourself, okay? Okay. Moving into the next thing, for me, since we're talking about self-care, I want to go into me learning to dress for myself or dress what makes me feel more feminine. And that was embracing my sensuality and sexuality. I'm going to get into that a little bit here because when we're talking about clothing, I feel like with me, and this could be true for you, I had to learn to embrace my sensuality and sexuality for myself and not listen to the misogynistic standards and all the misogynists out there that try to tell women that they can't be sensual or sexual without them maybe being a slut, a hoe, asking to be raped, or enticing a man, or asking, for none of that. And it's like they put this standard out on women that you have to cover up in order to be a woman, and that you have to cover yourself up, and that you can't wear your dress too short, that you look like a hoe. And for a long time, I found it to be true, but I'm like, I want to dress like that because it makes me feel good. I like a little cleavage showing. I like short dresses, but that don't mean I'm out here having sex with every man. But I feel like that's what a lot of misogynists have put out there. And if you don't know what a misogynist is, it's someone that basically doesn't respect women. They dehumanize women. And a lot of the men that have done this, they've done this because of how they view women. And so they make it sound like it's the woman's fault for how they're viewing the women. Especially like the men that are like, okay, it's her fault for wearing her titties out and wearing her dresses too short that's turning me on and makes me want to, be disrespectful towards her. It's like they're blaming her and saying if she was covered up, I wouldn't do that. But how stupid does that sound? And so for me, I started realizing I want to dress how the fuck I want to dress. This makes me feel more feminine. I feel good. That's what I mean by wearing clothes that you feel good in. I feel damn good in this and pretty. And if a man can't control himself, that ain't my problem. And then they try to say that you won't get a husband. I'm married. He met me looking good. Why can't I keep looking good? And then it's so funny because a lot of the men that are misogynistic like that, they look at other women like that have their cleavage out and all that. But they woman better not dare dress like that. So how fair is that? I just started realizing that. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to dress damn well please. Because I feel good dressing like this. And so me actually feeling sexy in my clothes, that's important to me. And I want you to also feel sexy in your clothes. And that's whether you feel like covering up, showing a little bit, wearing whatever you feel like. You have to feel sexy in your clothes. But if you are that girl out there that feels like she wants to dress a little bit more sexier, she likes a little cleavage, a little stomach, she wants a short dress, she wants to dress like that. If you feel like that's what you want to do, girlfriend, do it. Okay? Don't let these misogynistic standards get to you. So, for me, that was me breaking out. I broke out of that. And I feel like my inner child loves that for me. Because growing up, I've always felt like that's how I want to look as an adult woman. I felt like it's just something about a woman, showing off her body parts. Not showing off her body parts, but showing her shape. And accentuating what makes her feel womanly. That's how I always wanted to be. And so that's what I'm doing. And that's what's raised my self-esteem because I feel good. And it's not to impress a man. It's not to get attention. It's so before I go anywhere, I feel damn good. And I'm putting my best self forward. And I'm exuding my confidence because I feel good in my shit, in my clothes. And that's how you have to do. You can't listen to what those society standards say. You can't listen to what those men say. And women sometimes say it too. You can't listen to none of that shit. Do what you feel good in. And so, doing that, also I want to go into talking about sensuality and sexuality a little more. Now, this may ruffle some feathers, but do I care? I don't. You know, I'm known for ruffling feathers. And so, speaking of abiding by misogynistic rules and standards, or letting the patriarch force me into toning down, I started feeling like that I needed to explore myself more sexually. And what I mean by that is because growing up, I feel like embracing your sexuality or sex, or talking about sex period, was like, I was shamed for it. Like, y'all, I never forget, I got this Zane book. I don't know if you know the Zane author. She's a black author, sex, that talks about sex. All her books about sex. I got one of her books in the mail. It was like some sex stories. Because I enjoyed reading it. Because it's like no one told me about sex. But I was intrigued by it, of course. So I got the books. I like reading sex scenes. I liked it. I did. And I still do. But anyway, I got the book in the mail. And my mom just shamed the shit out of me. Made me feel so bad for wanting to read about it. And she was making little jokes about it. And I'm like... And I realized looking back now, it's because she was uncomfortable with it. But it's like, as I got older, I realized I had a hard time enjoying myself sexually with any man because I was too ashamed to talk about what I needed in the bedroom. I expected men to just know. Or I was so focused on pleasing them that I was never pleased. And it's because I was shamed for it. So we're going to get more into this part of dismantling shame around it. Because I feel like having shame around, a woman having shame around her sexuality and sensuality and being sexual, having shame around it, it causes her to not walk in her full feminine energy. And so with that, I want you to not be afraid to explore yourself sexually as well. Like, you have to know what pleases you sexually. You have to know. You can't depend solely on your man or your husband knowing what to do for you sexually. He can try, but that's you romanticizing, like you see in the movies, like, oh, they just having fun and she don't have to say anything. That's not real life, girlfriends. I learned that quickly. That's not real life. So if you have to, you can get a toy. If it goes against your religion, I've heard some girls say go against the religion. I'm not going to argue with you there, but I will say that what is so wrong with learning to please yourself so that when you do get a husband, you can tell him what you like. You can tell him what you need. And so doing that, it allowed me to open up myself to what pleases me so that I can have that real conversation with my now husband. Getting into a relationship, you can try to have everything you want. You can. But I feel like there's always a 20% that's going to be missing that you can work on and needs to be a little tweaked, so to speak. And that makes me feel good. Not because I'm getting pleased. Let me reiterate that. It makes me feel good that I can speak up. And that's why I say about that passive aggressive for not speaking up because you think you can't get what you need. You can say, I would like it if you touched me here, did this to me. I need this to feel good. I like this. I don't like that. I need you to do this. I think sometimes we be so afraid of hurting the male's ego that we step out of our feminine energy because you got to remember, like, you are a woman. You have woman parts. And those woman parts, you have certain parts of you that you need to be, to feel good. You need attention to. And so I feel like that for me, and this could be true for you too, is that learning to be more feminine was learning to not be what a man wants. Now that sounds so backwards, but think about it. Trying to be what a man wants is like dehumanizing who you really are. You are so much more than that. And trying to just be what he wants, I mean, stroking his ego. What about you? Pleasing him, giving him everything he wants. What about you? You're forgetting about yourself. And it's like, it's not about being what a man wants. And I feel like that once you figure out who you are, you'll find the right one for you. I didn't have to tone down or change a damn thing to be married to my husband. Not a damn thing. You can't run off someone that is for you. And so it's like I got my match. He's not in that misogynistic shit. He lets me be myself. I can dress as sexy as I want, wear what I want, do what I want, because he trusts me and I trust him. And so that's why I say you cannot get in that mode of trying to be what a man wants. And you can't make a whole collective of men happy. You're not for everyone. Okay? And so I think that's all I have to say on the sexuality part. Like I said, it may have ruffled some free feathers and it may have made you uncomfortable, but I felt like it needed to be said because I don't want to hear. It's so many women that fake it in the bedroom. It's so many women that are not happy in the bedroom. It's so many women that are just trying to please him. And it's so many women just not getting orgasms, getting what they deserve. And it's so many women that don't masturbate at all, so they're not even sure what makes them feel good. And it's like, you have to learn your body, girlfriends. Don't be afraid to. And for me, it's like being free in that department and expressing yourself in that department. I feel like it awakened a feminine energy within me that I didn't know I possessed. And that is what can balance your feminine with your masculine energy. That's how you embrace your femininity. Is embracing what makes you feel good as a woman. And so just try it. Start slow. It's been a journey for me. It has. It's been a real journey for me. I've faked it. I've been in some terrible relationships where the sex was just horrible and it was all about pleasing him. And I thought that was how it's supposed to be. And I realized that I was slightly raised that way. Like, my dad was a bit of a misogynist. You know, I'm not going to say a bit. He was a misogynist. And I think my mom was too in some aspect, because it's like, I just don't like the way that they have dehumanized women. Society is doing it, you know? And I had to dismantle a lot of that shit that my dad taught me, because it wasn't true. It was from his eyes and him wanting to control women because he couldn't control his damn self. And thinking that a woman was all about just being, you know, a man's property, so to speak. And that's how my exes treated me. They treated me like I wasn't even a damn woman, you know? Like I was some type of property. And that's not cool. No. So all of this is about you getting to you. And yeah. But me dismantling misogynistic standards is what really got me to be in my feminine energy. Like, for real, for real. And it's because they can make you feel like you gotta water yourself down, or that you gotta be about pleasing them only, that you can't, you know, be fulfilled. And it's all about making them feel good. So doing all of this, you know, dressing how I want and dismantling misogynistic standards, that made me feel like my feminine energy just glowed. This is what makes you glow and feel good and exude just feminine energy. And it's because you're getting what you want, asking for what you want, asking for what you need. And it helps you to exude confidence, because it's like, you know, you have that power to do so. And moving forward, for me, listening to certain music is what helped. Like, I love me some bad bitch music, some rap music, all that. But also include some music that makes you feel more feminine. I like some soft music, like neo-soul, softer type music. Women that sing softly and sensually. Some artists I like: Sabrina Claudio, Her, Alex Isley, Cleo Soul, SZA, Janae Aiko, Sid. I just listening to anything that's slow, smooth. It just chills you out and makes you feel like softer and slow. I equate all that, like I say, with being more feminine and opening up, embracing your feminine energy, because I feel like those women do. And so I picture it as being like just fluid and slow and just smooth and relaxed. Almost like you're just high off life. So that kind of helps me as well. And you can try that. Find your own people and music you like. Think of anything that makes you feel more sensual and slow. And that can help you embrace your femininity as well. Something that simple. Some other things I got to talk about. I'm getting close to the end, but I want to talk about this. This is so important. For me as a black woman, I had to lose that being a strong black woman trope. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to need help. It's okay to not be strong all the time. And for me as a black woman, I had to realize that has been pushed on us like for centuries and still is. And they look at us as being strong or aggressive or whatnot. You don't have to be strong all the time. It's okay to be weak sometimes. I'm just going to say it's okay to be weak sometimes because you are human. And I had to realize that I'm human. I'm not, they tried to dehumanize, especially black women. And so as far as that, it's learning to just, ask for help. And that leads me into learning to receive. I almost forgot that's a big one. Learning to receive means learning to receive from anyone that wants to give you something. Learning to receive compliments even. I had a big problem with that. It used to make me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, damn, people have been nice to me. I'm not used to receiving compliments, but I am slowly losing that. Learning to receive from a man, letting a man do for you. I had a big issue with it because I wasn't used to men doing anything nice for me. And I would kind of like, tell my man he don't have to do it, or I would try to do it. It's like stopping and realizing someone else can do for you. You can kick back and let someone do some shit for you. Receive. So it's learning to be open to receive what someone wants to do for you and give you. And with that, I feel like comes being vulnerable. Being vulnerable also can help you embrace your feminine energy. And you can't be vulnerable until you heal or work on healing. Because being vulnerable, of course, it has you more open. And if you're open, but you don't know how to handle what could possibly come towards you because you're so open, then you won't know. It would be hard for you to be vulnerable. And so healing is what helps you to be open, but to also have boundaries. And so being vulnerable means just being okay with your feelings, being one with your feelings, being okay with sharing your feelings, feeling that you can be emotional and it's okay, and not judging yourself for it. And being vulnerable means that you can connect with others. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to connect with everyone and that you should connect with everyone, but it's being open enough to see who you can and can't connect with. Okay? And that's how you build good relationships. And speaking of good relationships, having a good female tribe really, really, really helps. And actually, having my good tribe of women friends, it's what really helped me to build my femininity even more. It's what helped me to embrace my femininity. It's what helped me to be more vulnerable because I felt like I could trust them. And we talk about things openly and truthfully and honestly. And there's a lot of transparency. And you can't do that, of course, with everyone. But if you have a good group of friends or even just one or two good friends, that's fine. Having those people that you can open up to, that you're not afraid to, and you slowly build it. Now, I didn't always have this group of friends. Like growing up, I had one best friend. But even with her, I was able to embrace my vulnerability because, like I said, I was made to feel like I was a crybaby growing up. And so I felt like I couldn't cry, couldn't be vulnerable, none of that. I felt like it was a weakness. And a lot of you may have the same problem. But once you get around certain people that don't have that issue that maybe your parents have with being emotional and embracing emotional, embracing you being emotional, embracing vulnerability, then you're not going to realize that, what you've been missing out on. And so with my friends, I feel like they really helped me to realize that it's okay to cry. And I don't want to say crying can help you embrace your femininity. It's more so about realizing that you are a woman and that you have feelings and that you don't have to hide them. And it's like, it's almost powerful. It's not a weakness. Like being around my friends, I never forget the first time I cried around my best friend was when I was going through a terrible, toxic ass breakup. And I was just cussing him out, going off of him because he had brought a woman to my house to get his things. Because I guess he didn't have a car, she had a car. So he thought it was okay to do that. But he did it to hurt me, and he succeeded. I remember calling my best friend up, trying to calm down, but I was just going off, crying, hollering, and yelling. So I put on the fake face after all that, went to her house around the corner thinking I'm fine, went in the house, broke down. She hugged me. No, I went in the house and she just started hugging me. And I was like, but I walked in looking fine. Why are you hugging me? And I just broke down crying. It's like she knew. She knew. And it was the first time I really, really cried in front of a friend. And that's what really, and this was years ago, over 10 years ago. And this is what opened me up. So having a good friend or a good group of friends, y'all, that's what is really needed. I don't like to hear those women that say, I don't have no female friends. Fuck a female friend. I don't trust women. Okay, there are some women you can't trust, but there are some good ones that you can. And I hope you find them, because you're not going to find that type of friendship in the man. You might. There's some exceptions, but that with my girlfriends, yes. And it was the first time I cried. I remember now I cry all the time in front of my friends. I don't give a damn. And it's because I feel safe to do so, So having that moment, having that group of friends you can express yourself truthfully in will make you feel more feminine. And also, not to mention, they're feminine. And so they encourage me to, embrace my femininity and to feel like a woman, to feel good, because I'm around feminine women. And so all of that really goes into play. You can even get your group of friends that you can heal with and grow with. It's the best thing if you can find it. I promise you. I think that's all. I got some more, but I told you I had some good shit. I told you I wasn't playing with this. I just want to close with that. Being feminine, it's really all about, it's really for you. Embracing your femininity is always going to be for you to feel good about yourself, and it's like it's balancing it out with the masculine energy. It's doing what's best for you, because who wants to be that woman that's out there that's hurt and reacting instead of responding, always angry, always going off on people, never letting anyone in, not being able to be transparent, not asking for what she needs, and just being hard. It's okay to be a little soft. It doesn't make you weak. You can balance it out. And so that's what I feel like I've done. And it's made me feel lighter, And another thing I want to reiterate is that it's the big, big thing of just losing those misogynistic standards. I know you may have had some men telling you how you need to be in order to make them feel like a man. No, erase that. We're dismantling that. You gotta do you. Telling you do not want to be that pick-me girl that's trying to be what a misogynistic ass man wants. You're not going to be happy with what you get. Okay? You're going to feel like you're in this damn box and being controlled all the damn time. And you do not want that. No. But, girlfriends, that's all I got. I hope you learned some things in here. I feel like I could talk some more. That's why I'm looking like. I feel like I got some more to say. I wrote so much down, but I said so much too already. Yeah. So, girlfriends, and to everybody else, that's all I got for this episode. Be sure to check out my Patreon, which is patreon.com/I've Been That Girl, for bonus podcast content. I'm thinking I'm going to post some more bonus content about healing. It's already a lot of stuff on my Patreon. I have hundreds of podcast episodes, bonus content, all of that on there already. And I did some things on being more emotional and all that, and how to do that. So go in there, check it all out. But until the next podcast episode, girlfriends, peace out.